The movement in the price of gold has definitely gotten the attention of investors recently. So the first chart that you'll see here shows the movement of that price of gold since 2018. And you'll notice kind of three different periods on the chart itself. So the first, maybe third, if even quite that much, 2018 to 2020, pretty decent rise. It's really, the scale is kind of messed up because the recent price movement had been so high, but it was a pretty big move up in gold for there. 2020 to the beginning of 24, pretty sideways. So oscillating up and down, no real discernible trend. And then 24 forward, really picking up steam in 2025, a big rise. Until the far right of the chart, you see just a parabolic move straight up in the price of gold. So that up leg that looks literally like a straight line was 25%. It happened in only about 6 or 8 weeks from late August to about a week to 10 days ago. So we hit that peak and we've come back off it about 10%, at least at the time of this recording, which is pretty normal. We see that kind of pullback with price action of this size. So let's move to our second chart. An interesting note here. So give credit where credit's due. So Dean Cordalis from StoneX here puts together a research piece periodically. Love reading what he has. And he referenced this chart from Duality Research. So hopefully giving credit where credit's due. But this looks at the daily change in the price of gold. So up obviously is positive, down is negative, and you see two big down legs that have numbers attached to them. Far right was last week. We saw 5.5% decline in gold, largest since 2020, which is that other big down leg, a little over 6%. And what's interesting is that earlier down leg corresponded to that oscillating period I mentioned. So there was a huge run up in gold price, one big daily fall, and the price didn't do a whole lot over the next 3 to 4 years. So are we in for a similar thing this time? And it's interesting to look at. So Google your favorite relative strength indicator. Doesn't really matter what you choose. The price of gold would have definitely fallen into an overbought scenario, again, a week to 10 days ago. So some sort of pullback, some sort of what market participants called a digestion of those gains makes sense. Where does the new floor set and where do we kind of settle in here? I've seen a number of estimates that say it's somewhere around 3,500, which is really beginning right before that big parabolic move. So that would make sense. I'll be very clear and just tell you I'm not a gold price forecaster. We have some really bright people at our company that follow these markets routinely and daily. Certainly point you towards their research. Just speaking about this, looking at past market patterns, past asset patterns when we see these big moves, what kind of pattern do we typically see? And that one makes sense, that we might come back down to that level, settle there for a while till we move forward and really set a new base. There are some different things that are happening this time than weren't there in the past. There's obviously a greater concern over the devaluing of the US dollar, whether that's just happening or it's intentional. It is driving foreign buyers to gold instead of the US dollar for their reserves. We've seen moves in that and we've seen that documented. So these are things that maybe create a little bit more demand for gold than may have been in some of these prior periods. So always careful to draw too much of a conclusion from looking purely at history, but there is a reason that it tends to at least rhyme when it doesn't always repeat. So with that, we'll come back with more thoughts. And again, we encourage you to check out the wealth of metals research that we have within the StoneX group. Thank you.